Landforms of the Earth. Landforms of the Earth, we are going to learn. Last lesson we have learned about interior of the Earth. Now, in the interior of the Earth, I have shown you how the magma or internal under the crust, how the convection currents are causing plate tectonics. We know that the surface of the Earth is not a plain platform. Now there are many things like mountains, hills, plateaus, plains, ravines, cliffs. Why this surface of the earth is uneven, not plain? What make changes in the earth's surface? What processes makes mountains and hills? The answer is geomorphic process. Now causes of landform development, and that is the geomorphic process. In this video, we are going to learn about different geomorphic processes. The formation and deformation of landforms on the surface of the earth are a continuous process, which is due to the continuous influence of external and internal forces. Internal forces, in my last video, you have known how the internal forces are responsible for plate tectonics. Now, external forces, what are they? Everything we are going to learn now. Landforms of the earth of the geomorphic processes, that is earth movement. Two types of main movement, that is endogenic and exogenic. Endo means internal, whereas exogenic means out of this crust, that is external force. Endogenic can be slow movement, it can be sudden movement. Slow movement comes under diastrophism, that is all the slow movements are called diastrophic movement. It can be vertical, it can be horizontal. If it is vertical, then it is called epirogenic movement or continental building movement. And if it is horizontal, then it is called orogenic movement or mountain building movement. Mountain means oro. And if it is sudden movement, then you will have volcanic movement, earthquake, and these are in a smaller area than this slow movement which takes place. Now, this vertical movement can be upward movement or downward movement, horizontal due to compression or due to tension. Exogenic movement, it includes the weathering, erosion, and deposition. These three we are going to learn in our next chapters, but then also for the time being we have to know what are they. Weathering can be physical, where no chemical changes are there. Chemical change in the sense of chemically the rocks, minerals are getting changed because of chemical compositions and bonding. Biological also by man, by other animals. Erosion can take place because of the running water, groundwater, glaciers, waves and currents, sea waves and ocean currents, then winds in the desert area. Deposition by rivers, by groundwater, by glaciers, by sea waves and ocean currents, and winds. Now, landforms of the Earth's endogenic forces. Those are the internal forces, land bending forces. Because of this convection current, as I have told you, the crust is either moving away from each other or coming nearer to each other. And that's why the tectonic plate boundary is formed. And because of that, here we can see how the mountains are building up or continents are forming. Different continents. Before it was pancake together supercontinent. Now we are having different continents: North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, Asia, Europe. Exogenic forces on the surface of the earth, whether it is waves, sea waves, or by the wind deposition, or water deposition, or water erosion also is taking place over here, or water deposition over here. Now, land wearing forces. Previously, we have learned that land developing, now land wearing forces, which drive their strength from the Earth's exterior or are originated within the Earth's surface. Examples of forces: the running water, groundwater, glaciers, wind, waves, or ocean currents. And example of processes: weathering, mass movement, erosion, and deposition. Now we have to be very much careful about these two words: example of forces and example of processes. Now, weathering. What is weathering? Breaking of rocks on the Earth's surface. It can be physical, chemical, or biological by rivers, wind, sea waves, glaciers. Erosion is the carrying of broken rocks. When the rock is broken, until unless in physics you have learned that until unless the other force is acting on it, it will be staying at the same place. So the same thing like rivers, winds, sea waves, they take away the broken rocks from the origin of the weathering place and deposit somewhere else. These are these are called natural agents also. The actions of exogenic forces result in wearing down, that is the degradation of relief, elevations, and filling up, aggradation of basins, depressions on the Earth's surface. The phenomenon of wearing down of relief variations on the surface of the Earth through erosion is known as gradation. Platforms of the Earth's movement. They are the movements in the Earth's crust caused by endogenic and exogenic forces. These movements are also termed as tectonic movements. Tecton, Greek word, means builders. It is building the Earth's surface, different landforms. These movements are mainly builders and have been responsible for building up the different types of landforms, whether it is mountain or plateau or plain. Slow movements, that is, forces generated by the movement of the solid material of the Earth's crust. This is known as diastrophic movement or diastrophism. This includes orogenic process. Orogenic, oro means mountain. Mountain building process through folding and affecting long and narrow beds of the Earth's crust. Epeirogenic, that is huge continent building. Continent over here does not mean that continent of Asia or Africa or North America, but a huge landmass which gets uplifted or wrapped of large parts of the Earth's crust. Then we have plate tectonics, that is horizontal movements of crustal plates. Now, in diastrophism, we have epeirogenic, that is the vertical movement. That's why it is called continental building, because of the huge landmass is affected by this. It can be upward movement of the crust or downward movement of the huge crust. It can be horizontal, like it is forming folding when two part of the plates comes together, and that time it is getting folded. The sedimentary rock strata gets folded. You are getting orogenic movement, and that is forming the mountain building, especially fold mountains. plate tectonics, same way horizontal. In that case, we have the movements of the crustal plates. All these are slow process, but slow movements can again be classified as vertical movements and horizontal movements, as we have told. Horizontal movements are orogenic movement and vertical movements are epirogenic movement. In horizontal movement, either it will be compressed two plates or it will be away from each other, the two plates. In both the cases, we are getting mountains. That is why it's called orogenic movement. One is fold mountains, forces of compression, and one is tension, that is fault mountains. Vertical movements. Epirogenic movement mainly associated with the formation of continents and plateaus. They cause upliftment or subsidence of continent of any part of the landmass. These movements are originated from the center of the earth, that is interior of the earth. Horizontal movements, that is the orogenic movement. In horizontal movement, when it is compression, force of compression, it is holding the rock strata, especially sedimentary rock strata, and it is getting folded. Yeah, you can see the folds over here. They are also known as orogenic movement, that is mountain building movement. They bring a lot of disruption to the horizontal layer of strata, leading to a large structural deformation of the earth crust. When the earth crust was suppose plane, that plane area is now folding up and deformation is taking place. They can be classified as forces of compression and forces of tension. Now, forces of tension we have learned in the previous slide. Forces of compression also we are learning. Forces of compression are the forces which push rock strata against a hard plane from one side or from both the sides. The compressional forces lead to the bending of rock layers and thus lead to the formation of fold mountains. Most of the great mountain chains of the world like Himalaya, Rockies, Andes, Alps, etc. are formed in this manner. Forces of tension. Forces of tension work horizontally in opposite directions. The rock strata gets broken or fractured. Here we can see how the rock strata is getting fractured, or over here the fractured rock strata which has come up due to upliftment, and the rock strata which has gone down due to downward movement. And this particular line or this line is called fault line. The displacement of rock upward or downward from their original position. Here you can see how the rock strata has displaced. It is called faulting. Faulting forms rift valley and block mountain. Wherever you get block mountain, you will get rift valley if the valley is in between two blocks, like upward movement of the blocks. Here we are getting two block mountains and in between we are getting the rift valley. If it is tremendously steep, then it is called graben, this rift valley, and the blocks are called horst. Here we are having two horst over here. Now, the very steep slope of the continuous line along the fault is termed as escarpment. Here you can see the escarpment continuously it has gone, and this particular side is called escarpment and the other side is called dip, dipping the other side. Actually it is tilting. One side is lifted up and the other side is tilting, and this particular part is called escarpment. Now, example of Rift Valley we have in Africa already we all know, due to the tremendous tension, though it is a slow movement, but tension is there, and we are getting this African Rift Valley where we are getting the Y zone. In future, maybe it will be part apart from each other, and this particular part of Africa will be out of the mainland. Landforms of the Earth's sudden movements. Two sudden movements are there, that is the volcanoes and the earthquakes, which we are going to learn in our other chapters.